man who's the smartest guy with a bow tie in Chattanooga, the blogger with the biggest pen. I really am concerned about the city council and the enforcement process of its ordinance, the anti-Airbnb ordinance, the Beijing wall around Chattanooga, where Chattoogans are not allowed to use the internet. The internet is dangerous, and city council is waving you away from it, particularly if you want to rent out your home in the short-term vacation rental marketplace, which is a booming area of local economy and free market. You are not to be there. This is dangerous. We cannot have you involved in renting your home through TripAdvisor or HomeAway or the biggest name in that sector, Airbnb. And so what we've done here in Chattanooga to let you know that we are worthy of the name of Gig City is to block off the use of the internet. In this sector, and if you are using the internet in this sector to declare something about your private property, if you have your private property on any of these platforms, or if we find out about you through surveillance, right? We have a surveillance contract at the Economic Development Office run by Donna Williams, named by Andy Burke, right? She's Andy Burke's servant and assistant. And wanting more economic development, except here we just cannot have that. If you are outside the overlay district, we have made a map in Chattanooga, and we have banned anybody from advertising their private property on the internet. We will not let you do that, and if you do, we will send you a letter with a firm warning that you have to stop immediately or face enforcement action in the court of Judge Sherry Patey. And Tuesday last week, she had the first round of victims, if you will, of this ordinance that Mayor Burke accepted. He said nothing about it being a bad policy when it was debated last year in the city council. Clearly does not understand the internet, does not understand the free market. And he, in complicity with the council, decided to create this arbitrary and capricious district, which includes most of the city, but has banned hundreds of people from renting out their houses and making a profit, having cash flow, private cash flow, and private arrangements, personal private arrangements, prevented them, including a young single mom named Amanda Cobb. If you are a subscriber of Nuganomics.com, you've seen the house that Amanda has, and that she is hoping to rent out as part of her inheritance, right? She has an inheritance there. She has an asset, and you want to, if you have assets, you want it to be something that's not stagnant, that is in the marketplace, that is being the talents put to work, right? You don't want to be the man in the parable who got the 2 talents and put it in the ground in a napkin, right? You don't want to be doing that. You want your asset to be out there, generating service, generating benefits for other people, so that you might have the backflow from that asset at work, and that's the payment, right? That's the rent, the cash flow. And Amanda's been told, well, sorry, ma'am, you just can't. We don't care about your 10-year-old daughter. We've got this rule, this arbitrary and capricious rule that it's unconstitutional, right? You do know that, right, my listener? You have a sense that anything that's arbitrary and capricious cannot possibly be just. Now, there is still a market that exists that has met the approval of the council and the bean counters in the Economic Development Office. And that's a thriving sector. And we're going to hear a little bit about that from Amanda's dad. Clint Cobb is with Green Tech. It's a local builder here in Chattanooga, and serves the Scenic City Vacation Rental part of that business, which deals with rentals, short-term rentals, and longer-term rentals. So, Clint, tell my listener a little bit about the inventory of Green Tech. How does your business spread itself dealing with renters wanting to be in some kind of short-term relationship with a property in Chattanooga?
I mean, a lot of our customers just call us. They're wanting to come to the city. They want to buy homes here, so they just need a place to call home for a week, sometimes 2 weeks, and sometimes others business people come here. So they just we have a website, Scenic City Vacation Rentals, which they contact us on. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, same place, and they just come to us and rent homes with us. But of course, all our homes are in the so-called district that the city council approved. So, and we also
How many properties are we talking about?
Well, we also have long-term rentals too. We probably have about 30 or 35 long-term, and we have 6 short-term rentals.
So the long terms are under contract for, let's say, a year. Is that how that works in that business?
The long terms are at least 3 months, but we usually, I mean, nowadays you can demand 2-year leases, really. So, but usually a year.
Now, the story about your daughter Amanda is one I think we want to hear from you, Clint. Tell my listener about the house that Amanda has that was in view in the citation she was cited. And you, my listener, have probably already seen, if you are a subscriber to Nuganomics, which is free, you've seen the correspondence and the business card of the inspector who contacted Amanda. What is Amanda up to? What are her plans, and how has her plan been thwarted, Clint?
Well, she had a house in Hickson, which of course isn't in the zone that the city council approved last year. So they just made her stop. It's kind of it's the economic development office that makes you stop. But actually, if you really think about it, they're hurting the economics of Chattanooga by doing this, because if you're a property owner on one side of the road, you're allowed to do it. But if you're a property owner across the road, you aren't allowed to do it. And it just seems like they're segregating certain parts of the city, which in my opinion is, like David says, unconstitutional and unfair.
Well, that's right. And now, what I really find interesting, Clint Cobb, the dad of this young woman, she's in her 20s, is that right? And you said 10-year-old daughter.
Her daughter will be 10 in September.
Okay, so she's a mom, and she has a living, and here she has a house, and she's hoping to make cash from it, and she can't. What was I going to say? I was going to ask about. How far is she from the district? Is there any way in her case that she could apply to be in it somehow, like a special provision, or have you heard of anything that she could rezone herself, which would be a very long and arduous process? Is that in view? Is that possible, Clint Cobb?
I mean, anything's possible, but I seriously doubt it. I think if she tried, all these city council basically would say is you're not in the district, which needs to be in, which is basically the law now. So,
well, what happens on the 1st of October, Clint?
The 1st of October.
Well, the ordinance is being, maybe you didn't read it, but it says it comes up for review October the 1st.
Okay.
So they may expand it.
Well, let's hope they expand it. Let's hope they expand it without any limits. Basically, it, in my opinion, it should be same rules that applied before vacation rentals came into existence. I mean, if you're a homeowner and wanted to rent your home in the past for 30 days or whatever, you sign a contract and rented your home. I mean, there's laws on the books now for what they say may occur, but I mean, property owners who do short-term rentals usually have the nicest houses on the block, the nicest front yards, the nicest interiors. They fix the roofs, they fix everything because their income kind of depends on it. And they also need returning customers. If you don't get returning customers in this business, you'll be out of business.
So the Airbnb market, if we can just use that as the short handle for this market, Clint Cobb, that raises the quality of houses. It raises the care that the owner gives to the house, you're saying, and that of course that creates business for people who sell goods and maybe sell services to cleaning services, for example. They come in after a renter has gone and they get paid for that service, and so you're generating economic activity.
Absolutely. We're generating economic activity in the form of taxes too. I mean, the taxes that the city charges is a lot, and then you're bringing in people with money to go to the aquarium, to go to Ruby Falls, to go to your local restaurant. So, and when they limit that, even it seems ironic that you can say, okay, we're developing the city economically by limiting where you're allowed to have economic development. It's
well, this is Chip Henderson's plan, and as he explained a couple of weeks ago in the city council meeting, Clint, he had a district which has this problem of being unconstitutional, he had this district because he couldn't get support for a plan that made the whole city wide open for Airbnb. And so he said, to get the thing passed, I had to cut out certain council members who said that their people didn't want it.
No, I understand. I understand that the city council's in a precarious spot sometimes, but it
well, I think what you're saying, if I'm reading you right, is that when this comes up for review, maybe since it is such a strong economic gain for Chattanooga, city council people will all say, well, we're reviewing this ordinance now. The problems that David Toulis has pointed out aside, can we expand it and include everybody? That way, if everybody's in it, no one can. There's that ends the problem of it being arbitrary and capricious.
Yes, absolutely. If they expand it, then yeah, problem's over.
You mentioned taxes. How much comes out from the cash flow of, let's say, $100 that Green Tech gets for a short-term vacation rental? In that market, $100 is coming in. How much goes out in city taxes and then taxes overall?
Taxes overall, I don't do the accounting work. All I know is I always tell the customer add on about 18%. So it's
and
about,
does the customer add? Is that on top of the customer's bill, or does he get a bill and then the 18% is taken out from it?
When I say I tell the customer that's when they call the direct line and they start talking and negotiating prices like that. If I say, oh well, that house is going to be $200 a night, or I say, it's 200 plus 18%. So basically, it's going to be $236 a night. So
okay. Well, this is David Toulis, and we're talking with Clint Cobb. If you have a question about this whole controversy, and I think it is a controversy worth thinking about, and if you are if you live in Chattanooga, think about elections and think about voting. And here we bring this up today because here we have most of the city council approving of this plan, which it was pointed out to them by me. Is unconstitutional, even though it had the very fun and wonderful services of Wade Hinton, who has since gone to a better job in the insurance business. He passed on this ordinance, but clearly it had several problems, and the main one was it was just not just among neighbors. It made a line between like parties, as Clint is saying, Clint Cobb from Green Tech is saying, and let one side of the street do, and the other side facing a ban on the use of private property among private people in a private circumstance, not corporate. And most of these people, Clint, I'm guessing, are not corporations. They're not investment houses that manage properties. They're just individual owners. Is that fair to say about the Airbnb market in Chattanooga?
Yeah, I mean, the Airbnb market is basically single families trying to rent their homes, and then on Airbnb, some people just rent their rooms. So, but most of it's just a single property owner trying to make extra income on their home.
Right. And you, of course, you're Green Tech and Scenic City Vacation Rentals is in the business. So that's the corporate ownership and a corporate interest. So that would be, that there is profit to be made there. And it's not really private anymore since you are a corporation, I guess. Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So here we have private homeowners who are don't have a corporate capacity, acting privately in their individual persons, and so they're not really subject to that kind of regulation, I would suggest, or taxation. Well, the number is 800-894-9800-8949, and it is election day, and I just wanted to mention the Olive Branch Mediterranean Deli and Market menu today, and I want to get it right. It is. There is a dish that Nick and Callie will be making available today, paputsakia, and Faye, probably behind the counter there at the pan, will probably turn her head and pronounce that correctly for me. Also on the menu at Olive Branch Mediterranean, chicken shawarma with homemade garlic mayonnaise, and also the third special today on the menu is stickless pork souvlaki. That's pork tenderloin. And then finally, Greek lemon chicken at Olive Branch Mediterranean Deli. Do go in there for dinner tonight. Try out this locally owned restaurant. So, Clint, tell we've left hanging here the story about Amanda, your daughter, prohibited by city council from enjoying economic development herself. What is she? Tell us a little bit about her. What is she doing? Does she work somewhere and have wages or something that lets her support herself and her daughter? Or is she really sunk because she can't get approval for short-term vacation rental under 30 days, she says.
No, she doesn't have a job right now. What she's always done is just buy and sell stuff on eBay. So this was basically how she was earning her income, was through her rental of her house.
So did that stop? Is that what did it ever start and then it stopped, or did she never get off the ground with her house?
No, it was doing well until it stopped. It stopped. I mean, it's done now, so it stopped. It was doing pretty well for the last, I think, 6 months.
I had an interview with Susan Biro here, and she was at the very bottom of the Airbnb market. Her rate was $40 a night, and a very kind of working class house. And there are people really at all levels of the economic scale who some can afford the high without blinking, and other people are really pinching pennies. And so when they come to Chattanooga, they're going to be with Susan. So I'm going to say Amanda's going to get back into this. It's going to happen where she can have her Airbnb cleansed.
Yeah,
within the next year. I'm willing to propose.
Well, hopefully to Ben Hickson, but
right.
I mean, we'll see.
And if that doesn't work out, if there is not a reform making this ordinance constitutional, are you saying that she would sell the house and buy one within the magical district?
That's her plan now, is to sell the house, and then I think she's planning on moving to St. Elmo.
And that is in the district.
Yes.
The overlay map. Well, this is David Toulis. We do thank you for tuning into our show, and want you to know that it is election day, and there is a great deal to say about elections, but do think about the following. Being a member of a jury is more important for the scope of liberty overall, and I would say liberty and freedom overall than voting. Voting is part of you might say being a resident of a democratic republic, and Tennessee being a democratic republic as well, of sorts, though handmaiden to Washington in many ways. You have some bad weather this morning that may have blocked you from voting, but the rain has stopped, at least here along the Georgia border in East Ridge, and there are ballots. I'm not sure how long, probably till about 7 or 8 o'clock this evening. And I argue that you should love your neighbor and buy local. We're brought to you by Nuganomics.com. Near is much better than far, small than big, and simple than complex. And the footnotes at 5-point type. Personal is better than corporate, and physical than abstract. We're live on Facebook at Nuga Radio, and also live on YouTube at the Nuga Radio channel. If you have a late model television, you can get YouTube on your TV. So think about the advantages of that. We don't have, want to give a final report here on the elections. We don't have any strong constitutional freedom-oriented candidates on the ballot, but you do have some who are conservatives, and you have some that may be progressive on the Democratic side. We haven't heard a lot about the Democratic candidates for the primary in the state house, but there are several for one of the seats, and I just haven't had much time to look into them. But we'll find out at the end of the day which of those will be facing either Esther Hilton or Jonathan Mason on the Republican side here in the East Ridge district. This is David Toulis, and I'm glad you are tuning in. Local economy, the free market is what we argue for, and also constitutional government. I'd like to think that the jury is where the law is voted on by the people. And you are told by judges that you do not have authority to judge the law. You are to judge only the facts in light of the law that he will give you. That is the proceedings in court. But remember on election day that you are providing a public service to pick the face in the House seat or the governor's chair. But more important than that is, in the end, to judge the law that he and his predecessors pass, that is in the statute books, being enforced against some defendant in court. So think about the role of the juror. If you're gonna go to trouble to vote today, be open, of course, to being a juror here in Hamilton County or in your county if you are from a faraway place. None of what we say here is trademarked. Feel free to take it away with you as you pass on. If you're on the highway passing through, we are glad you are tuning into the David Toulis Show. We are 92.7 FM and 95.3 FM HD4 Nuga Radio. That's high definition Channel 4, love your neighbor, and buy local. Check out nuganomics.com, the website for men and women who may are not popular, but it doesn't have to be. We are trying to get people like you to take direct action today toward liberty and serving your neighbor. David Torres, Nuga Radio, and Clint Cobb, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Clint Cobb is with Green Tech, a home builder here, and he works for the Scenic City Vacation Rental, part of that business with rentals. David Torres.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Authorities in North Georgia say marijuana was sold right out in the open, labeled as a non-THC containing herb. Riskil Kumar Patel and Tankant Bajwa both arrested, booked in the Catoosa County Jail. The products claim to not have THC in them, which is a psychoactive ingredient marijuana, but prosecutors say it was full-on marijuana. Warrants out for a fatal hit-and-run suspect. Israel Martin Alonzo wanted for the killing of 62-year-old Donald Rackley, who was hit by a speeding vehicle on Norcross Road Monday morning. This 18-year-old has warrants out for his arrest. Jeffrey Harris was identified as the pedestrian who was killed on Highway 153 Saturday. His body discovered hours after the fact. Reports say his body was thrown by the impact. The traffic division still investigating his death to find out who's responsible. So far, no suspects named. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Sam Jordan, News Talk 92.7 Action Sports now. Professional soccer is coming to Chattanooga as the United Soccer League Division III announced on Wednesday it's awarded a founding member franchise to an organization led by business executive Robert Bob Martino for the league's 2019 debut season. In addition, the club has confirmed that it will host a public event in the coming months to unveil its overall vision for the future of professional soccer in Chattanooga. Officials said USL Division III will deliver a longer season of top-tier professional soccer to Chattanooga soccer fans, along with generating heightened national media awareness for the community as part of a pro league. The league recently met with 11 local ownership groups in Atlanta to discuss details of the new 2019 season. Those ownership groups represent Chattanooga, Toronto, South Georgia, Tucson, Greenville, South Carolina, and Madison, Wisconsin. Additional clubs will be announced in the coming weeks and months. Sam Jordan, News Talk 92.7 Action Sports now.
Chattanooga weather.
We've got lots of clouds, but most of the rain now well off to our east through your afternoon. Could see a few spotty showers. Highs closer to 80 tonight. Lows back into the upper 60s and near 70s. Some patchy late fog. For Friday, only isolated showers and thunder showers. Highs back into the 80s, mid and upper 80s for the weekend. Tired of the pressures and hassles of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Sorgene Welsh, meteorologist Azure 4.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
My ex recently hacked my email and my social media, and it really caused me some problems. I changed all my passwords, which helped, but I'm still getting trolled, maybe even stalked. I know it's him. I just can't prove it.
My business, well, it's been broken into twice already. I've got cameras, but that only helps after the fact. I'd rather prevent it from happening in the first place.
Unity One East is your solution to these and many other security concerns. With private investigation, security services, and backed by decades of real-life experience in military and law enforcement, Unity One East is your instant contact for security, investigation, and consultation to help protect you, your family, and your business. No 1-800 number, no red tape, no wait, because Unity One East is local and available 24/7. Reclaim your peace of mind. Call Unity One East, 475-6200.